Hello everyone. So this is our fifth lecture on the series of tutorials on SolidWorks. So today we discuss about the various commands in 2D sketch module such as trim, offset, mirror, patterns that may be linear or circular patterns, and some move or other commands in this software. So let's begin. Click on new here on the screen and click on the path. Click OK to open the 2D sketch module window. Now you can see our window is open here. So first select the front plane to draw anything on this window here. So select front plane and then select the sketch toolbar and click the sketch. Now we are in sketching module of this software. So we start with the trim entities. So trim are basically of 3 to 4 types. Then we go with the offset entities. Now this convert entity is used when you are in 3D module of this software. Okay, then we start with mirror entities and then sketch, linear sketch patterns. These are linear patterns and circular patterns here. So start with trim entities. Let us draw a rectangle, which is a 2-corner rectangle here. Now I select the line command here. Let me draw some lines anywhere on the screen of any dimensions, any characteristics. Okay, so these are certain lines which are crisscrossing this rectangle from inside as well as to outside. Okay. Now we start with trim entities. Trim is basically used to cut the unwanted lines or unwanted entity which you don't need, okay, in the drawing. Fine. So just I click on trim entities. You can see in property manager there are 5 types of trims: power trim, corner, trim away inside, trim away outside, and trim to closest. So we start with power trim. Power trim, it is that trim. In this you can see a thread-like structure starts with your cursor, and when this thread-like structure connects or contacts with any of the entity on the screen here, it will delete that entity. See, when I click power trim here and starts by pressing the left button of your mouse, you can see a thread-like structure appears, and when this thread contacts with any of these entity, it will delete all the elements. See, this is known as power trims. Okay, so in power trim you can delete any entity anywhere of any type. Okay, so this is how you can delete all the entity with the help of power trim. So Control Z to get back your drawing. Fine, to get at the original position. Now again click the trim entities here. Now come to the second option. Now this is known as your corner creating options with the help of trim. Suppose we have 2 lines here. I can draw a line somewhere here like this and escape, then again press one more line. See, now you want to create corner this side as well as this side. So it's up to you at which side you want to create the corner. So let me select this trim entity, select the corner option of the trim entity. Now select the line first, then select the this line, and you will get the corner on that side. Okay, so it's up to you which side you want to select, whether the upward side or downward side, to get the corner on that side, on that respective place. Okay, so again I show you trim entities, select the corner option. Now select this line, and if you want the corner in the downward direction, select this like this. You can create the corners by selecting these lines as per your requirement. Fine, so this is how you can trim the lines to get the corners of your desired requirement. Fine, then press escape to end the command. Again, now click trim again. Now this third option is trim away inside. So it means your inside lines or entities are to be deleted. Fine, now let us say this is a rectangle and these are the lines which are inside the rectangle. These are the entities which are inside there, and you want to delete all these entities within these 2 lines. So these are your boundaries, you can say these are your limits. First line here, second line here. So when I click on the trim away inside option of the trim entity, first of all select the boundaries in which you want to delete the entities. Then I click the entities which I want to delete. See, these entities are deleted between these two boundaries. First boundary is this, second boundary is this, or you can say first limit, second limit, or you can say upper limit, lower limit, as per your taste. So you can select these entities and you can delete all these entities. So this is how you can trim away inside of this rectangle. Fine. Now press Ctrl Z to get all the lines. This is how you can come back to the original position in your drawings. Fine. Again click on trim entities. Now this is the fourth option here. Fourth option, trim away outside. Now trim away outside means that the entities which are outside your limit area. Fine. Suppose this is your first limit and this is your second limit. Now when I click trim away inside here, press escape again. Fourth option. This is the upper limit, this is the lower limit. Now the entities which are outside this limit are to be deleted. So I just click here. See, this is how I can delete all the entities which are away. Now even you click inside of this rectangle, what happens? Only the outside entity will be deleted and the inner entities will remain inside. This is how you can trim away all the entities which are outside this box. So it is very useful when you have a complex drawings and you want to delete all the things within the limit area. Fine. So this is how you can delete all the entities with the help of trim away outside. Now last is trim to closest. Now before that I just escape this command and Ctrl Z to get my drawing in the original position. Now this is how the drawings looks like. Now let me again go for the trim entities and click the trim to closest. This is the last option of trim. Now in this, what happens? You can trim any entity anywhere. Just click the line you want to delete or you want to trim. Fine. Whether inside the box, whether outside the box, including the box, limits, anything. So this is most widely used trim when you draw drawings on the SolidWorks. Okay, so you can click any line anywhere and just delete that line or just trim away that line. So this is easiest way. So most of the time we use the last option, but these are option the above options are also used as per the requirement of the designer. Fine. So this is how you can use the trim entities. Now press escape to enter the command and select all this entity and delete. Now come to the offset entity option. This is the second option in the sketch module we use. Now let me create some, let us say I use spline here. Click on the spline and select the points you want on the screen. Fine. Now click escape to enter the command. Now this is the spline which I want to offset above or below or in both direction. Fine. So let me click offset first. Now select the entity which you want to offset. See, I select the entity here. Now you want to give an option of the distance of offset, how much distance you need. Fine. So let us say I just give 2 millimeters, press enter, or let us say I give 5 millimeters, or I can say it should be 8. Okay, so this is your offset. Fine. This is the offset command. Now this is the line which I draw. The blue color line is the line which I draw, and this is the black color line is the offset line of this spline at a distance of 8 millimeter. Fine. Now if I again, let us me use this command again, offset. Let me Control Z this thing. Now click on offset. Now there are certain options or parameters on which you can do offsets. Fine. If you add dimension, previously it is written as a dimension here. Okay. Now if you add this offset entity here in the reverse direction. Okay. Let me delete this first. Now this is the offset. Let me click this line, click on offset. Now you can see I can choose the reverse direction also. Add dimension means that 8 millimeter is written here. Okay, you can see 8 millimeter dimension is written anywhere in this screen when you click OK on the offset command. Fine. And in the reverse direction means your entity is reversed, or if you click this bidirectional means your entity will be we can see on the both sides, on the front, on the upward as well as downward direction. Fine. If you just click add dimensions of it here, the dimension will not be appear on the screen. And if you just select chain, and select chain means your whole supply will be offset. Fine. If you just off this option here, what happens? Then I just click OK. Reticle contours is allowed. Fine. Let me delete this first. I'll show you again. Click on the spline, press escape to enter the command, click on the offset. Okay, now let me give a dimension of 10 millimeter. Click the spline. See, this happens. Fine. Now this is the original line, and this yellow line is your offset line of the spline. Fine. Now if you want this yellow line in the upward direction, what do you do? Just click reverse here. Now what happens? The yellow offset line appears upward of the original line, and if you just off this option reverse here, it appears in the downward direction. So this is the default direction of this offset, and if you just reverse it, the direction of the offset will be reversed. Fine. Now if you just click bidirectional parameter here, when I click bidirection, it means your offset will be in both the direction, upward as well as downwards. And if you need arcs, these cap end means you just close this here. You can see you just closing the offset lines here, so they can be in the arc form, so they are in circular form like this, and they can be in lines. In lines, they are just straight lines connecting these cap ends. Fine. Cap ends are used to close the element. Fine. This is how you can do the cap ends. And if you don't want any cap ends, just press off button here. You can see now they are open on both the direction, both the ends it is open. And if you just off this bidirectional parameter, you can see only one direction is available for offset. And if you just give add dimensions, now when you click OK, a dimension appears on this that it is 10 mm away from the your original drawing. Fine. So this is how you can do the offset, whether it is in same direction or in the reverse direction or in both direction. You can use bidirectional, or for the help of cap ends, you can cap the ends of this curve by a simple line or straight line, or you can use arcs. Fine. So if you you can see I just click OK here. Now what happens? This dimension appears because I OK the button of add dimensions here. That's why it is written 10 mm. If it is not click on, then this dimension will not be shown here. And if it is in reverse direction, that's why it is in upward direction. And if it is in default direction, then the offset will be in downward direction. And if it is in, we can say, both the directions, then I'll show you here how you can do. Click OK offset, click bidirectional, click the line, click OK. So this is how you can see these dimensions remains here. If you want to make them off, you can do it, no issues. And this is how you can show the offset of the spline, which is 10 mm away from the original dimension. So this is how you can do offsets. You can do anything offset. You can offset circles also. When I just click circle like here, okay, now I do offset. So this is how you can do offset of circle bidirectional. If it is you need one direction only, so you can do it one direction. Same distance, you can change the distance also, no issues. Click OK. So this is how you can create another circle outside the smaller circle at a 10 mm distance. So if this circle is 20, then this will be 10 plus 10. Okay, the radius will be, if dia is 10, if dia is 20 and radius is 10 here, 10, 20. Another circle remains to be of, outer circle will be of 40 millimeters dia. Fine. So this is how you can create or you can do offset of the subline or a circle, or you can offset also this rectangle. Any entity can be offset, no issues. Just click offset here. See, if you want to add dimension, you can click on. If you don't need any dimensions to be seen on the drawing, then just click off this, uncheck this box here, and then click OK. So this is how you can offset this smaller rectangle to a bigger one at a distance of 10 millimeter from every direction. Fine. So this is how you can do offset here. So we learned about trims, we learn about the offset. Now we comes to the mirror entities. Now for mirror you must need a center line. In 2D you must need a center line, and in 3D you must need a plane about which you want to mirror things. Okay, so let me draw a center line here, that is somewhere, yeah, passing through the origin. And I want to draw anything here on the left hand side, and I want to make mirror to the other side. So let me draw anything here, anything. I want the mirror image of this entity on this side, so I use mirror entities command here. So let us say first select this entity which you want to mirror here. Select all the entities, or you can mirror any single entity, no issues. Select those entity, and that entity will be mirrored to this side, and remaining entities will remain on the left hand side of the center line. Fine. So you can just drag this center line to appear to be a bit larger here, and when I select this entity first, I'll select all the entities, then I go to the mirror entities. Now you can see in the property manager options, the system or the software asks you that entities to mirror. So I select all the entities which I want to mirror, and you can see this copy icon should be checked. It is ticked and it is on. It means it is on here. And now you want to mirror about at which axis or at which central axis. Fine, I just click here, then the box will become blue, and then click the axis about which you want to mirror the entities. So I just click this line, and you can see a yellow entity appears, which is the mirror image of this. And when I click OK, see what happens. So this is the mirror image of this previous entity. So this is how you can mirror things. You can mirror any entity, circle, rectangle, splines, slots, anything you want to mirror. Or you can make sure that you make half the drawings in the left hand side if it is symmetrical. Drawings which are symmetrical are to be made by this method. You can make the drawing in the left or right hand side of the center line, and then make sure you collect all the entities or select all the entities and mirror them about the center line, and whole of the entities are mirrored to the left or right side as per your requirement. And by doing this, you save the time, the drawings will be efficient and accurate, and you take less time to draw the drawings. So this is how you can do mirror. And another option in the mirror I can show you. Let me delete this first. Now I'll select all the entities which I want to mirror, click on the mirror. Now I just make sure that this copy option is off. It should be on if you need all these entities on both sides, left as well as right. Now when I click this option, it becomes blue. Mirror about which axis? I want to mirror about these all entities about this axis. Now when I click OK, you can see a yellow lines will appear, and when I click OK here, see what happens. When the copy option is on, both the entities appear on the screen, and when the copy option is off, only the new entity, which is the mirror entity of the previous one, is seen, and the previous entity which is on the left hand side of the screen is not visible of this center line. Okay, so this is the option which we required while making drawings. If you need both the entities in the right in the left as well as right direction, then you must make sure that copy option is on. Secondly, if you need only right hand side direction of the you can see right hand entities of the center line, then you make sure that your copy option is off. So you can choose any of the options. you may, it's up to you as per your requirements. You can off the copy option or on the copy option to get the desired results. So this is how happens when your copy option is off. Your original entity of the entities are not visible to you, but the mirror entities of the original entity about this center line axis is visible to you. So this is how you can do mirror. Now let me go to another command on this software. So we learn about trim entities, we learn about offsets, we learn about mirror entities. Now come to the sketch patterns. So let me draw a rectangle, a small rectangle here. Let me give certain dimensions. Let it be 70, and this should be 30 here. Okay, now you can see, now this is the rectangle. Now press escape to enter the command. Now this rectangle is what we have, 70 by 30 of rectangle, and I want to pattern this rectangle in X and Y direction. Okay, pattern is used to create a single entity in a repetitive form at certain interval of distances. Okay, so this is how you can create a number of entities of same element at certain value of distances in X as well as in Y direction. So this type of pattern is called linear pattern, in which X and Y direction is available. Okay, and in case of circular pattern, you can pattern the single entity in a circular way or about the circumference of that arc or a circle to get the desired results. So let me discuss the linear sketch pattern first. So this is the entity I want to pattern in the X as well as in the Y direction. In X direction I need 5, and in the Y direction I also need 5. Fine. So what I do, I just select this entity first. Let me press Control button and select all the entities of rectangle. Do not select dimensions, please do not select the dimensions, only select the entities, the lines. Okay, now click on linear sketch pattern. Now you can see in the property manager there are two options. Direction 1 is the x-axis, direction 2 is the y-axis. Okay, now direction 1, let me give now here you can see direction 1 option is on and your pattern is created, but this pattern overlapping the original piece or original entity of the original rectangle. I want that this new rectangle will be around 100 mm away from the previous or original rectangle. So what I do, I just select here the distance, that should be around 100 mm. See, now this pattern is having a distance of 100 mm from this edge, not from the center. Please make sure that in case of linear sketch patterns, the distance are measured from edge to edge, not from center to center. So this is the first edge and this is the second edge of the pattern, and the distance between first and second edge is 100. So if I want to calculate this between distance, so it should be 100 minus 70, and this should be around 30. So the distance between two elements is 30, but the distance between the two edges of the element, that is called the first edges of the element. This is the first edge of this element, this is the first edge of this element, is 100 mm. So pattern in case of linear sketch patterns, you must make sure that the distances are taken from edge to edge, not from center to center in case of linear sketch pattern in SolidWorks. Okay, so I give 100 mm, that means there is a gap of 30 mm between these two elements. Now the amount of elements you need, let us say I need 5 elements, so I just type 5 here and press enter. See what happens now. You will see that 4 are drawn and first will be including as a original. So there are total 1 2 3 4 5 elements are created of same dimensions, same characteristics in the X direction. Okay, now if you need these elements in the Y direction also, so I just click here and I give the value here, number of elements 5, and you can see these elements are still overlapping each other, and I want that these elements are seen individually. So what I do, I just give distance here 30 plus 20, that means it should be 50. So you can see here, you can see the directions are given as. Now in the Y direction, these elements are 50 mm apart from edge to edge. Okay, edge to edge distance is created. Now this is the lower edge of the first element, and this is the lower edge of the second element in vertical direction. So distance between these two lower edges is 50. Okay, and the remaining distance in between these element is 50 minus 30, that will be 20 millimeters. Fine. So make sure when you create things here, it should, in case of linear patterns, the edge to edge distance is selected if you want that these elements are separately seen to you on the screen. Fine. So in the x direction they are 5, in the y direction they are 5. In the x direction these elements are 30 millimeter apart from each other, and in the y direction they are 20 millimeter apart from each other. But if you give the distance, they must be from edge to edge. So first edge and second edge, that is we call as a pitch. In engineering term we call it as a pitch, because pitch is measured between edge to edge or center to center or the other edge to other edge. Fine. So let us say this is the first edge, this is the second edge of this element, this is the second edge, this is the first edge, and the distance between these two is 100 mm, and this is the first edge and this is the second edge in case of vertical, and the distance between them is 50 millimeters, so that these elements appears to be bit away from each other, they are not overlapping right now. And now when I click OK here, so you can see all the elements are apart from each other, but they are not fully defined. Why? Because we are not giving distances right now, so they are not fully defined. So what I do, I just go to smart dimension, I'll give the distance from this edge to this edge, it is 100. See what happens now. The horizontal line is fully defined, it is black in color, and from this edge to this edge it is 50, and then click OK. Now what happens, horizontal lines are black, mostly black, but the vertical lines are not black till now, they are still blue. Now press escape to enter the command. What I do, I just see, you have to apply constraints here so that your pattern is fully defined. So I just select this line and I select this line here, the original dimension and the new patterned column or patterned element here, and make them vertical. Okay, now when I make them vertical, they are aligned in same line. Okay, now if I select this again, this line and this line here, make them collinear, see what happens. Now they are all black in color and they are fully defined. Now this 5 number appears in the screen is the number of patterns you need in y direction, and this 5 is the number of pattern in y direction, x direction. So this is how you can create linear sketch pattern in the SolidWorks in 2D module. So you have to create first the element you want to repeat at a certain interval of distance in both the direction x and y. You can do in x also, you can do in y individually also, and you can do x and y both at the same time simultaneously. So I need 5 elements in x direction, I need 5 elements in the y direction, and make sure the distance the pattern select in the software is edge to edge. So you must add the distance of this length plus the amount of distance you want to separate these elements with each other. So 70 plus 30 becomes 100 here. Similarly this 30 becomes 50. How it becomes 50? 30 plus 20, it becomes 50. So 20 is the distance between these two elements, and if you give the values in the pattern, you must give value edge to edge. So this is the first edge of the original element, this is the second edge of the element in the horizontal direction, and the distance between them is 100, and this is the first edge of the element in the original element in the vertical direction, and this is the second edge of the entity which is patterned here, and the distance between these two is 50 millimeters. So distances are to be kept in mind while giving, okay, because if you give the wrong distances, then definitely your pattern will not be as per your requirements. And how to make sure that these patterns are fully defined, make sure that these lines are horizontal as well as they are collinear. Similarly these vertical lines in the pattern, the first edge of the these elements are collinear with each other and they are vertical, then this whole pattern will become your fully defined, and they are fully constraints right now. So you can't move these elements anywhere on the screen if you want to. See, I can't able to move these elements. Now press escape to end the command. Now if you you can see this is how you can do the linear pattern first. Fine. Now come to the second part of the pattern, that is called circular pattern. So what I do, I just select all these, delete here, yes to all. Fine. Now make sure your region will somewhere here, and now draw a circle. When you draw a circle here, let me give certain dimension or diameter to the circle. Let it should be around 250. So this is the 250 millimeter dia or 125 millimeter radius circle. Now I want to draw another circle somewhere here on the previous circle at this circumference. Let me give a diameter of 20 millimeter and press escape to end the your dimension command. Now there are two circles, one is big, one is small. Smaller circle having a diameter of 20 millimeter and larger circle having a diameter of 250 millimeter. What I want this smaller circle to be circular pattern along the circumference of the bigger circle. So what I do, I just select the circular pattern option. Now first of all, you require the parameters. Parameter means the first option is here, that about which you want to the pattern or entities to be pattern. Now entities to be pattern, you have to select here. Fine, you have to select here. When you select, this box will appear as blue in color. Entities to be pattern, I want this small circle to be pattern. Okay, when I click this, you can automatically see an arrow which defines the center of the circle. So this is the point where your pattern will appears. Fine, and this is these are the yellow patterns here. You can see these are the yellow patterns which appears. Now if you want to increase the number of units, like let us say 5, then press enter, they become 5. You can increase from these arrows in the property manager, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so these are equally spacing within according to the circumference of the circle. The circumference is 360 degrees, so angle will be 360 degree. If you want that these element at a certain angle, now this is the default setting that it should be at 360 degree. It means it covers whole of the circumference of this bigger circle. Now if you require that this number of patterns, these number of units, 12 number of units should be in 270 degree, so just click here, press enter. Now you can see the 12 circles are at just 270 degree of this circumference. Fine, so you can do these things, that if you need the entire circumference, whether you need a circumference of a certain defined angle, 270, 180, 140, 135, as per your requirement, you can change the angle of the circumference and you will get the desired number of patterns within that circumference. Fine, this is comes under equal spacing. Fine, so you have to make sure that this equal spacing option is on here. Fine, and now these are not no need to change these values because they are by default the same. Fine, they are by default by the software. So you can reverse the direction also. See, first when I go, it is moving in your clockwise direction, and if you want the pattern in anti-clockwise direction, there is an option here, reverse direction, or you can say flip. So when I just click, you can see this arrow, blue arrow, it is in moving in anti-clockwise direction. When I click OK, you can see your pattern is created, but pattern is not fully defined. It is not constrained. When you choose any of these circles, okay, let me select this circle from the center. You can see the whole pattern will move towards it, and the whole pattern is not aligned with the circumference of the desired circle. So what I do, I just select the center of this pattern. This is the star which is the center of this pattern, whole pattern. These blue circles, the center of this pattern is this star. Okay, when I click this star, press Ctrl and then click on the origin of the circle and make sure they are coincident. And when I do this, whole of the pattern is fully defined now and it lies on the edge of the circumference of the circle. Now when I select the center of this pattern of the smaller circle, I can't able to move it. Why? Because it is fully defined, it is constrained now, and in the bottom you can see it is written as fully defined. So this is how you can do pattern in the software. So we learn about trim entities in this tutorial: offset, mirror, linear sketch pattern, as well as your circular sketch pattern here. Okay, so these patterns, this is the number of pattern you do here, that is 12 numbers, and the angle is 360 degrees. So the software automatically decide the angle between each individual pattern. And how will you define the pattern fully defined? Just press make sure that the center of this pattern lies with the origin of this circle, or 0 of the circle, or you can say center of the circle. And this is how you can define the pattern in circular sketch pattern. In linear sketch pattern, you make sure the edges, horizontal as well as vertical edges, are collinear with the original element, and in that case it is fully defined, and all the pattern lines are black in color, and they are fixed right now, and they are fixed with the surroundings, and you can't move those elements anywhere. Fine. So this is how you can make sure that your pattern works. Thanks for the support, and thanks for watching this video. In today's lecture, we discuss about the trim, we discuss about the offset, we discuss about mirror, we discuss about the linear sketch patterns. So this completes all your 2D sketch module. In the next tutorial, we discuss about the other things in this module, and we will draw some of the examples and apply constraints, how to apply a constraint on the original drawings on the software, and make sure that those drawings are fully defined in the software. So in the next tutorial, we discuss about some examples of 2D module, and later on we discuss about the 3D module of this software. So thanks for watching, thanks for the support.